Y'all, y'all, I have an announcement that I have been waiting for years to be able to say. But I have new music coming out, specifically my first single in about a few years called Buskin' for My Bail Money. It comes out April 3rd. As well as I am working on an EP that I am shooting for in the summer. I'm shooting for an album next year. Like, I am so happy and grateful that I can say that I have put myself in a position to work on my greatest love, which is music. Now, it's no coincidence that I'm wearing a cowgirl hat and a shirt that says country, because I most certainly put the cunt in country, okay? Amen, hallelujah. And that's because this time around, I had to accept the fact that if I wanted music to be a part of my life, if I wanted to make it in music, if I wanted music to be something that I say I do as part of everything else that I do, I had to accept one basic fact that I repeatedly got told when I pursued music in Nashville and LA, and that I was a little bit country. Yeah. So a little bit of a story time to put a few things into context, right? Now, like a lot of people, I was told at a very young age, repeatedly, that I had all the makings to make it in the music industry. I was pretty, right? Visually appealing. I was highly marketable. I am funny and witty and quirky. I'm a hot ass mess, but I'm memorable, right? And I had a backstory that would engage people. And on top of that, I actually had some talent in forms of songwriting and singing. So I took that to heart because I always wanted to pursue music. And so when I could, I moved to LA to do what a lot of people do, and that is start a music career. And let me tell you, I got the shock of my life when I moved out there. Now I started sharing my songs, right? I shared my songs at song shares with other musicians, with other singer-songwriters, with producers, with managers. And I got told over and over that I was a little bit country, that my songs were great, that they were hits even, but in that country pop, country rock genre, to which I instantly replied, absolutely not. I had just moved 3,000 miles away from my small town to LA to rid myself of the stigma that comes from being from a small town. Also, the South is racist, okay? This package I knew would not be accepted in country. My Black Mexican behind was not going to make it in country music. And honestly, at the time, I wasn't ready to deal with the ridicule, the hatred, the racism, the comments about my hair, the comments about my skin color, the comments about the language I may or may not speak. Asking if I got, if I knew English, if I had a green card. Like, these are the things that I repeatedly grew up with in the South, in my small town. My town is known for NASCAR and cows. Like, that is where I came from. So I was like, no, I knew that even if I was like, fine, let's go country, let's go country rock pop, let's go country pop, that this package was not going to be accepted in the country music genre. So I denied it. So years went by. And because, like I said, I had all the makings to make it in the music industry, that made me attract managers. That made me attract people that wanted to invest in me. But they knew what I knew. I wasn't going to make it in country music. And so because I was too talented to just let go, they tried to see where else they could plug me. But when they really started listening to my songs and I really tried to maybe write differently, I tried to experiment with my sound, all roads still led to a little bit country. And I ended up being dropped by these managers because I was a puzzle that was being too hard to figure out, because I couldn't be fit into another genre. It was so disheartening to me because growing up, I thought I was going to be the next R&B act. I really did. I thought that I was going to make it in R&B. That's what I grew up listening to. I listened to all genres of music, but I did gravitate towards like R&B. And I at one point called myself the second coming of Beyonce because I also like to dance. I also loved pop music as well. And so, I mean, let's just be real. There will never be another Beyonce. But it's funny when I started talking to managers and everything, and they were trying to see where to plug me. The one genre that they were like, we can't make you work in that genre was R&B. Because I was 0 for 3. I didn't write in the R&B genre. I didn't sing in the R&B genre. I also didn't fit the aesthetic that comes with the R&B genre. And I was like, dang, that's so disheartening. I tried to make it in rock as well. I went to many like rock band auditions, and my pop ass was like, hey guys, I'm here to join your rock band. And they were like, girl, no, because I couldn't be passed off as like the lead singer of a rock band either, because I'm not fully rock. So I just fell in between the cracks of genres. And this went on for years. Now, COVID changed a lot for a lot of people. I feel like it was the do or die moment for a lot of us creatives and artists. A lot of us decided that it was just too difficult and they joined the real world. I feel like there was a lot of people in the real world who realized that life was too short and they wanted to pursue their passions. They wanted to pursue things that they felt would give their lives more meaning. I was somewhere in between both. I had a very hard conversation with myself during COVID because I was seeing a lot of my peers, people my age, just have job security and financial security. They had homes, they had cars, they were taking vacations, they were starting families. And it made me question my decisions, because if I was like just dead in the water at that point, right? And I was like, what am I doing wrong? Like, what are the decisions that I'm making? Like, I wasn't necessarily envious of what my peers had. I was just kind of like, I went into this state where I was just questioning everything, right? I was questioning myself and my decisions and my actions. And I came up to the same conclusion that it doesn't matter. I know that I'm going to wake up every single day and make the same decision. And that is to pursue my passions, my music, my writing, my creativity. And so that's what I did. I was presented with an opportunity to move to Denver, Colorado. And that is where I currently find myself. Now, Denver was supposed to be a hop, skip, and jump back to LA, but I don't hate Denver. And if I'm going to be honest, things have been working out for me in certain ways, falling apart in others, but that's okay. And so I decided to stay. And so like a year and a half into me moving into Denver, I'm sitting on my bed. It was a Super Bowl Sunday. I had worked late, so I had missed the opportunity to go out with my friends to Super Bowl parties or to watch a Super Bowl at a bar or whatever. So I was just sitting, on my bed alone with my guitar in my lap, just playing around with chords like I do often. And I finally felt like I was ready to see what my options were musically here, because I had given myself time to get acclimated to a new city, to a new system, to a new routine. And so I was like, okay, it's now or never, Lauren. And I feel like if you're going to pursue music, if you're going to make music a part of your life and you want to get somewhere with it this time, you know what you have to do. And that is accept that you're a little bit country, or as I like to say, slightly Southern, okay? You have to accept that you are a lot of the stereotypes that come from being from a small town, right? You have to accept that you're from a poor family. And that was something that my mom said to me. One of the last things that she said to me before I moved to California, when I was just like, California this, California that. And she was really upset with me. She was like, look, like you're not gonna get anywhere in life until you accept where you come from. And that is from a small town and a poor family. And I really felt like that didn't pertain to my situation, so I didn't take it to heart until I was out there in LA, until I was experiencing all the things that I was experiencing. And I realized that she meant in music, that I wasn't going to get anywhere with music if I didn't accept where I came from. And that's from the South. That's from the country. Okay? And so that is where I find myself. So I'm sitting on my bed watching the Super Bowl, having an existential crisis, because letting my songs be heard how I hear them, right? Putting some Southern and country elements to my music was the easy part. That's okay. It was the fact that I was going to potentially have to subject myself to the hatred, to the ridicule, to the cruelty, to the racism that comes with certain stereotypes in the country music genre, from the fans, from the singers, from the people who are surrounded in that genre. And that's what I was having an existential crisis, because it was like, Lauren, like, you're gonna subject yourself to the same things that you did for almost your entire life when you lived in your small town, but on a grander scale now, right? Like on a much grander scale. And these things are only gonna get uglier. The things that people have to say about you, you know, are only gonna get more hurtful. And I didn't know if I was ready for that. Like, music is so easy for me. I love it. I know that songwriting is such a niche gift, and I write in a style of telling stories. I think, you know, when I think of genres, I think of phrasing, and I do think of lyrics, but also I couldn't deny that I was attracted to certain sounds that I wanted to implement in my music that would paint me as a like country rock pop, southern rock pop girly. And so I just was like, am I really gonna have to be subjected to comments of my hair and my body and my skin color and the language that, you know, I speak and my family speaks? And I just didn't want to do that. And so I'm just like sitting on my bed, having an existential crisis, and who pops up on my screen other than Beyonce Knowles Carter announcing her release of Cowboy Carter, and I instantly bawl. Like, I instantly just tears came flowing out of me. Like, it was just a very like cathartic experience, because I knew in that moment that I was making the right decision. Now, I told myself, if Beyonce can do it, I can do it. Now, I'm not trying to say that I am anywhere near the talent level of Beyonce, but I knew that what she was doing with Cowboy Carter was gonna open doors for Black and brown artists who fall in between country and rock. And I know she's gonna do the same thing with the rock album that she's releasing soon, because my algorithm is full of Black women and men who are releasing rock music, and I love that. I follow them. I followed the country artists too. And so I knew that this was my moment, because she was kind of reminding people in specific music genres that Black people are the foundation. Black people have always been there, and they always will be there. Now, we may not get as big as other country artists or any artists altogether, because we are a little bit different, but I felt peace. I felt like it was a sign from the universe that this was your moment. And so this is where I find myself, and I'm very, very grateful for this opportunity to finally just accept a facet of myself that I've been trying to deny just because of what people might say, which is not on brand for me and who I am as a person. During this existential crisis as well, I realized something about myself, and that I was made to cause tension. I was made to stand tall, to stand firm, to stand grounded amongst chaos, amongst places that wouldn't accept me. That is just who I am as a person, and everything that I do in my life is a form of activism. It's a form of rebellion. And when I think about the South, or I think about country themes, very stereotypically, I feel like I'm in my outlaw era. And I truly love that for me, my outlaw era, because true outlaws, if you look at history, were people who rebelled against the government, who rebelled against societal norms. They did not let the injustices slide. You know, they stood up for the little people, right? And because when you stand up against the positions of power, or when you go against what positions of power are trying to put onto people, you're instantly the villain. You're the bad guy, right? And that's so on brand for me. You know, I love that. I love that my purpose was very close to the vest of who I am as a person. I think that speaks to the testament of the universe and the humor. You know, people always say God has a sense of humor. Absolutely. He made me rebellious. He made me who I am, because he knew that I was going to have to stand firm. I was going to have to stand grounded in places that weren't going to accept me and want me there. That I was going to be the type of person who's not scared to say the quiet part out loud, to have those tough conversations, to ask the hard questions. Like, I am so grateful. And I knew that I was in the right moment to pursue music, because I had to learn those things about myself. I really, really want people to understand that sometimes timing is everything. Most times, timing is everything, because music just wasn't working out for me in the other chapters of my life. And it made me second guess, like maybe this wasn't for me. But there was always a part of me that was like, no, this can't be it. Like, I know the gifts that I possess, right? And songwriting is one of them. But I also feel like it was meant to be my form of activism. It was meant to be my form of rebellion. I was talking to my producer as I was finishing up, Busking for My Bail Money. Again, that's my single coming out. And I was really just trying to gauge my intentions. I was like, Lauren, like, what are your objectives here? Like, what do you hope to gain? Where do you hope to, to go with your music and everything like that? And shout out to Merch, my producer, for allowing me to just verbalize my thoughts out loud so I could gain some clarity, some perspective, and make sense of what I was feeling and thinking. And, I want to make it as a songwriter. I know I possess a talent. I have been told that, that my songs are catchy, they're great. I have a gift for songwriting, and that's such a niche gift. And also in the sound, in the genres that I am, like, it's a wanted sound. It's songs are needed, right? So I'm grateful that I was finally able to accept certain facets of myself to put me in this position, because I think it's going to be a wild ride, and I'm ready for it. But also, at the end of the day, when you do anything in media, when you do anything in entertainment, you're selling yourself. Like, you are your own brand. And songwriters, the ones that really make it and that are successful, they have their own brand, right? Like, okay, this is so-and-so because it sounds like them. The lyrics, sound like them. And I feel like everything that I do kind of has a theme, and that's just my form of activism. It's a form of rebelling against the system, the societal norms. Like, my music definitely is going to be a form of rebellion, to stand tall in a place that doesn't want me there, because, again, and I'll say this 10 toes down every single time, Black people are the foundation of every American music genre. Okay, like, they are. And I'm also Mexican as well. And when I think about country music, I think about mariachi music, right? It's the same thing, different font. The thing is mariachi music was here way longer than American country music, right? And I have ideas to incorporate certain themes on my Mexican side in my music, because I'm not just country, okay? Contrary to what my shirt says. But, like, that's the beauty about music. Like, I don't understand why people in the country music genre specifically feel like it has to sound the same, be the same. I really feel like country music hasn't really evolved, because if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And I totally get that. There's a very simple formula that you need to follow in order to make it in country music. But God forbid you're just slightly different, or you want to do things a little bit differently, or you have other influences. That's where the tension starts coming, right? And again, I was made for that tension, because, something that I've realized and that I had to be reminded of, what happens amongst tension? Change. And that's me to a T. That's all I want to be. I want to be the change I wish to see in this world, in music, in my life, in society. And I am just welcoming the tension in every area of my life, because what happens amongst tension? Change. And I know this is a cliche, but I want to be the change I wish to see in the world, in music and society. And I'm loving the fact that I feel like the universe is seeing that I'm finally ready. I am ready. So I'm not going to lie. I have been presented with multiple opportunities as of late to remind myself that I'm perceived a certain way. And I don't care, right? I've never cared how I'm perceived. I especially don't care now. But I know that I am this strong-willed, strong personalitied, assertive woman. And that rubs people the wrong way, right? But in order to be that person that causes tension, to stand firm and grounded amongst chaos, especially in places that she's not going to be welcomed, I have to be that way. And I will never apologize for that. I've had to learn to be confident inward, reflecting outward from head to toe. Because again, I know, I already know, because these things have been attacked already. you know, my who I am, my character, my look, my hair, my body type. Like these things have already been attacked and I'm only getting started. And that was something that reminded me that, Lauren, it's only going to get worse from here. And that's why I'm so grateful that I have been presented with opportunities to prove that I am who I say that I am, instead of saying that I've been tested. No, I am getting presented with opportunities to prove that I am who I say that I am. And guess what? I am. And I think that's why the universe is like, okay, girl, now you're ready. And so stay tuned. My song is coming out. Again, it's Busking for My Bail Money, April 3rd. And I will have more music coming out in the summer. But it's a great song. I think a lot of women are going to relate. And yeah, join me on this journey because it is going to be amazing. It's going to be a wild ride.